I can tell you this. I think without Saquon, they don't win that Super Bowl.
Maybe they don't win it, but their potential is
Saquon single-handedly caused Kansas City to focus on one thing and one thing only. Saquon Barkley.
Hey, football fans, welcome back to this week's episode of Flag on the Play, your quick hit of all things football news, takes, and touchdowns. We got Billy over there and Nam the Duke. Take it away, Billy.
All right, so we just discussed that we are going to release our first ever episode, so it might be a little weird, and I need you guys to work with us throughout the entire season because it's just going to get better from here. We are going to try to kind of condense these episodes down, and to get started, we're going to talk about a little bit of college football. I don't get to watch a whole lot Duke, throughout the season, just mainly because I'm doing weddings, but it is a huge interest of mine. I don't think you could see it back there, but I've got an OU helmet on my mantle, opposite side of my Kansas City stuff from Oklahoma. So I try to pay attention and hope that we do well, but there was a couple things that stuck out to me from the weekend that I kind of want to talk about.
Wait, hold on. You're a big Oklahoma guy, huh?
I'm a huge Oklahoma guy from Oklahoma.
Who's the best player to ever come out of OU?
Oh boy. If we're talking old school, one of my favorites that I used to love watching, I wish he would have done better in the NFL, was Quentin Griffin, running back from Oklahoma back in the day, back in the early 2000s. And then honestly, recently, or like even over the past 20 years, my dog, Baker Mayfield, I love him. I love watching him play.
Baker Mayfield.
My dog, Baker Mayfield.
He's owning
just
it up.
watching highlights of him back in Oklahoma and just the antics that he used to do. He's such an exciting player to watch. And he has some of that in the NFL, but not as much as I would like to see.
Not a DeMarco Murray guy, huh?
No, not as much. No. AP, I guess if we really want to go like probably the best player to ever come out, AP, obviously.
I think
one of
Sam
the best running
Bradford
backs
probably
ever.
The best Oklahoma student.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, yeah, the guy started, 5 games in his entire career and, obviously way better than a Kyler Murray. I can't even keep a straight face. That is a horrible, pull there. I kind of try to forget about him. I liked him in college, but he was a terrible NFL player, and it is what it is. But you know what? Good for him, because neither one of us couldn't even play college ball. So I didn't even play high school ball. I don't know about you, but I didn't even play high school ball.
Did you guys win over the weekend, or?
We did. We absolutely dominated, played a no-name school. We got Michigan coming up this week, so that's going to be our actual true test. Did we make any major changes? So when we got moved over to the SEC, we went from a very offense-oriented, team. Think of 3 starting quarterbacks in the NFL are from Oklahoma. We got Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, and Baker Mayfield, all from Oklahoma. So as soon as Jalen was out and we went to the SEC, we got a defensive-minded coach, which we've never had in the history of Oklahoma. Defense is better, but overall our offense just can't score fucking points. So we'll see what happens. Since the days of CeeDee Lamb and Hollywood Brown and guys like that and all these major quarterbacks I just talked about, we've got nothing going for us.
CeeDee Lamb went to Oklahoma? I didn't know that.
CeeDee Lamb, yep.
Yeah,
CeeDee Lamb, Hollywood Brown, Kyler
Murray.
Murray.
Those
are
like
the
Penn
3
State guy.
Yeah, no. We've got some good names from Oklahoma, believe it or not, but going forward, I don't expect any major offensive players outside of some of our linemen. There's some good ones. The center from my team, Kansas City, might actually be from Oklahoma, Creed Humphrey. And I think a couple of the big guys from Baltimore are also some Oklahoma guys.
Oddly enough, a player from my favorite team was actually, I'm about to talk a bunch of shit, and I don't think Chandler Jones went to Syracuse, not Chris Jones. Whoopsie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Syracuse guy. They're my guys. They're looking up this year. We did just take a massive ass whooping from Tennessee.
To a good team, though. It is a good team,
and we did put up 26 on them.
That game.
I mean, 2 years ago we would have probably had negative points in that game, and they would have put up like 70. We got UConn coming up this week, so I mean, if we don't beat the brakes off of fucking UConn, I mean, it's not like this is a basketball game. UConn should just get absolutely slapped, and if we can't do that, I don't know what to do. As far as just to give a little bit of background on my favorite player from Syracuse, you could always go Jim Brown, Ernie Davis type stuff. I'm a big.
So nobody in the last 100 years, though, is what you're saying.
I mean, Dwight Freeney is who I was going to say is my favorite Syracuse player. Of all time, probably. I'm not a big Donovan McNabb guy. Just a lot of older. A lot of older
Syracuse,
players.
Huh?
Yeah, Donovan McNabb was QB at Syracuse.
Like McNabb.
Art Monk went there. Marvin Harrison went there. Daryl Johnson went there. Nobody really from the 21st century, but a lot of good names. A lot of good history.
I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on this Ohio State Texas game. Texas came in ranked number 1 versus number 3 Ohio State. A very defensive sided game, but it looks like there's a couple things going on here. Matt Patricia in college football is a disaster for everybody wanting to win a game. Or is it Arch Manning is not what we expected and truly is the son of the Manning brother that just didn't make it to the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, so that's kind of a hard thing to say because one, I mean, Matt Patricia, yes, he can scheme up plays. Players got to tackle. Players got to understand coverages. They got to know the plays. They got to know what their assignments are. They have to execute. So there's a good amount of discipline on the player side. So I think that they just have a good defense in Ohio State. Is it the best in college? Maybe. I don't know. You have to be seeing the season will tell us that. See, I think that the problem with these first games is people can overreact a lot. Like if Ohio State goes out the next 3 weeks and people even if they win all 3 games, 50-48, they're still getting 48 hung up on them. And then their defense isn't going to look so dominant. Matt Patricia's not going to look like such a genius. I think with a 1-game sample size, we can say that it looked like they are a good defense, but we'll see if it's them being a good defense or Texas maybe just being an overrated offense. I mean, they did lose Matthew Golden right to the draft. You go to Arch Manning, he hasn't played a lot of college ball. I don't know that you can hold it.
But in the games he's played, he's looked decent. I wouldn't say all out, but
can't really.
He came out Heisman front runner to start the season.
No, I think I do think the Ohio State defense is good, but I don't think that he was as bad as maybe it's being made out to seem.
The thing I actually saw this today. Matt Patricia, the way he schemed that defense is he started in one look. And that defense quickly went to a completely different defense than it started. So there's a couple things with that. Arch is just going to have to learn. That's NFL level ball that he would have to learn against a team like that. So he's not going to see that every weekend. And I think, they dropped to number 7, it looks like, in the ranking. I think they're going to have a shot to obviously make playoffs.
I think that's
I don't want to say obvious, but
with college, I don't like preseason rankings. I get that you have to have some sort of something like power rankings in the NFL. I do not like preseason rankings because
Texas, it's Arch Manning. I mean, them coming out number 1, Ohio State being number 3 though after winning the national championship.
But there are so many
part of that, because they lost some players to the draft as well.
There are so many high value prospects that come out of high school that are expected to kind of change organizations like 5 stars. I say change organizations that are supposed to have a big impact. And I think that you're putting a lot of stock in what is essentially unknown because it's just like going from college to the NFL, maybe not to the same degree, but you're playing a different degree, a different caliber of football. So with people who have seen very few snaps, haven't got a lot of time, haven't been game planned for before, I just don't know that we should be putting a lot of stock in those types of players. We really just got to let them play the games out.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of that. I think it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out, how Arch kind of rebounds from that and show what kind of quarterback he is going to be. The scary thing about Ohio State, though, is the defense did look good, and that offense only put up 14 points against a pretty good Texas defense. But that's essentially a brand new offense because they got a brand new quarterback. So, I mean, if we just went from week one, Ohio State's probably going to win the goddamn national championship again. Like, it's
I don't have Ohio State
good defense.
back-to-back.
I don't want them to, but that's a scary situation to be up against.
I don't know, dude. I don't know that they can. I mean, I think the scariest thing about Ohio State is the head coach's nipple ring that they keep showing on social media.
I thought it was fake. I didn't even look into it, but I saw it as well.
Nothing about that guy.
Insane.
What's his name? What's the coach's name?
That's fuck. What is his name? I can't think of it. It's on the tip of my tongue. See, this is the problem when I don't get to watch enough college football. Are you looking it up?
I am.
When you had a goddamn producer.
Ryan Day. He looks like
Ryan Day.
He looks like an AI generated human. He doesn't look real.
I agree with that. Speaking of AI generated, it seems that Alabama still has not gotten their shit together post Nick Saban. Jesus Christ. Tuesday brain. It's Monday for us. We had a holiday yesterday, Tuesday brain. But ever since Coach Saban left the building, Ohio State, Alabama has not gotten it together. I'm just reading Florida State. Florida State felt like they got snubbed last year for the playoffs. And to be quite honest, that's probably something that should have happened because they started to look really fucking bad at the end of the year.
Well, they have a lot of players like go into the transfer portal and like drop off before their bowl game.
I think there was massive injuries coming into like the later part of the year as well.
Yeah, there were a ton of things that play into that. How many of those players are returning, I guess, is the question. We're going to have to get some stat lines on some of this college stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I do know at least they come into the season unranked and come out and absolutely fucking hand Alabama the ass whooping of a lifetime.
They're 14
Alabama
now.
They're 14 now. Alabama's on the verge. They're now down to 21. If Alabama can't get their shit together, I don't know who they play next week. We can take a look at that real quick. But if they don't get their shit together, Alabama could be post-Saban unranked for the first time in, 20 years?
Well,
which would be fucking insane.
Saturday, September 6th, they play L.A. Monroe. I think if they lose to Louisiana Monroe Warhawks, they got a lot more problems, dude. The only people who have heard of that college are the people who go there. That's
insane. Yeah. So your take on that game, though. I mean, do you have any thoughts on that other than holy shit?
Well, actually, I got to watch a little bit of this game. I was rooting for FSU because I have some connections that are FSU alumni fans. I don't know, dude. Alabama's just in shambles. It looks like they just don't look like a team that has it together. Undisciplined, from what I can see.
I agree. I think outside of the state of Alabama, everybody is extremely happy with what we're seeing right now.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the good thing that they had, the NCAA basketball season starts pretty soon. So, and they've had a pretty good team the past couple of years. So while they're trying to rebuild their football organization, at least they'll have basketball. They'll turn into basketball fans over there. They'll say that they were never a football school. They were always a basketball school. And we'll see that whole heel turn from the Alabama crew, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just hate Alabama, to be honest with you. I don't like them. I don't like anything about them.
Same. I got happy. I got to watch one game last year. I was on a little trip with the wife. It was just me and her. And we stopped at a restaurant to get some food after going to Busch Gardens, seeing some Christmas lights. And I got to watch my team play. We played Alabama, and we also beat the shit out of Alabama last year. And I was very happy with that. We were in no business to do that. We were a terrible fucking team last year, barely made bowl game eligible, which I think is also something to discuss on another episode. I think it's, you win 6 games, you get a bowl eligibility. I think it's stupid.
How many more ass beatings do you think that they get before they fire the head coach?
2 more like that. Like if it's like another Vanderbilt, kind of year or like that, and they get another couple of those, listen to like, I assume Auburn is also unranked. They lose some of those games. Like the top SEC teams, like if it's an ass whooping, just one or two more. But if it's like top SEC and you're staying competitive, you give the person a shot. But I don't think he's the guy, and I think they're
they have Wisconsin, unranked Wisconsin. They're no slouch, but they could get an ass whooping against Wisconsin. Then
the Badgers,
yeah.
I mean that's a team I knew who their mascot was without looking that up. So it's highly possible that could be a team that could just show up one day.
But they got,
any given Saturday.
They got Georgia the following week for Georgia, and I'm assuming that they're going to get it handed to them there. Hopefully, for their sake they don't. But then they have Vanderbilt on the back of that. Ooh, excuse me. They have Vanderbilt on the back of that Georgia game, so they're probably going to be extremely tired unless they get absolutely blown out of the building. So Vanderbilt's got a shot at really embarrassing them. They have Mizzou, Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU. I mean, they have a rough stretch of games here.
Yeah.
I mean, they're scheduled like an SEC team, right? They're scheduled with a hard schedule.
Yeah.
They have to play these tough teams. And right now, I mean, if you just count it down, right, like they're probably beating the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks. But are they beating Wisconsin? Who knows? Are they beating Georgia? Probably not. Are they beating Vanderbilt? That's a coin flip. Are they beating Missouri? That's a coin flip. Are they beating Tennessee?
A 6-win team.
Tennessee probably not beating Tennessee. If South Carolina, number 10 in the country, probably not beating them the way that they are now. LSU,
good old Gamecocks.
Certainly not getting. They're going to get the shaft from LSU for sure. Then they play your Sooners. The way that they're playing now, that's another. I mean, I only see like 2 or 3 wins on the season for them on their schedule right now. And one of those is Louisiana Warhawks. Nobody's ever heard of. And the other one's the Eastern Illinois Panthers.
Hell yeah, dude.
So we'll see how that goes. I mean, but yeah, I think that if you're an Alabama fan, you got to start hitting the panic button, because I also just am of the personal opinion, even though I was rooting for Florida State, I don't think they're going to stay 14, right? They're probably going to drop a couple of games. They're going to.
Oh, indeed.
I mean, they play Kent State. They're going to win that game. East Texas A&M. I mean, holy shit. What is the softball schedule that Florida State has? Texas A&M.
What conference are they in? Are they SEC?
No, they're Big Ten.
Conferences are so weird, especially with some of them have changed around a bit since I've been able to really pay attention.
Yeah, God, we're talking so much shit on college football teams, and we watch like 6 games a year.
Yeah, if that. And then moving on, just the last game I kind of want to talk about, just to cap off the college section of this program. The Horned Frogs just absolutely handed Belichick his first fucking ass kicking. Do we predict this is going to happen more often than I think people expected?
I don't understand why people expected Belichick to come in and like change the Tar Heels from like a middling team in a middling conference to being like absolute college football juggernaut. I think that's really the crazy part. TCU's kind of an established football school at this point. The last 5 years, half decade, they've been a competitive team, including appearing in a national championship game. So it's like, what are we really talking about here? You're talking about the Tar Heel. If this was a year ago with the same team, same players, I mean, scheme is not going to win you games where you have no talent. He's going to need, I think, in my estimation, 3 to 5 years of recruiting to accumulate the talent pool that they need to start really winning games.
It is weird. It was looked at a lot too, because it wasn't just Belichick going down there. It was also, I want to say Michael Lombardi, who's like the athletic director or GM or whatever you call it down there in college, who's kind of doing some of that recruiting, looking at the kids, who was pretty good with I believe the Patriots and another team in the NFL, maybe San Francisco. So he's kind of been all around too. And like, it was expected that they'd do well. I mean, he's got to be in shambles. He's a defensive-minded guy and let an unknown kind of set of players put up 48 points on him. First quarter started out good, and then from there it was just a downhill slaughter. They finally got another 7 on the board for themselves in quarter 3. But I mean, I even saw that even his 24-year-old girlfriend has already entered the transfer portal. So, like, I think it's meme of the week. We're gonna have to do a meme of the week for whether it's NFL or college on this podcast, because I think
Bill's
that's
got
one of the better
money.
ones I've seen all week.
He's not worried about it. But I will say that just looking at the box score for this game, just Josh Hoover, the TCU quarterback, threw for almost 60 more yards than the entire UNC offense had in the entire game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's pretty fucking disgusting.
They had like 220 yards in a college football game. Is not going to get it done.
No. College should be much higher. I mean, some low scores on some sides, like obviously the Texas-Ohio game. But yeah, to not put up even 200 yards in college, I mean, you should be a double A school or not a Division II school, right? Like you shouldn't be in there at all.
And we're talking about like even just looking at the dispersion of it, like we had, they just didn't get to play offense that much. They had 11, 21, 20, 28 carries for 50 yards, 28 rushing plays that accumulated 50 yards. And they had 21 passing plays. So 50 plays on offense, essentially. They had 50 offensive plays in a college football game where people go up and down the field in like 8 seconds. So,
and you see there were so many people there too. Just kind of cap this little story off. I mean, Randy Moss was there. The entire PMS show was there. There's a bunch of different people from out like Belichick's like career from the NFL there to like support him, and he just gets slaughtered.
It's embarrassing. Imagine how embarrassed
that is absolutely embarrassing. I mean, I think that he gets essentially punted out of the NFL and then goes, all right, well, at this point in my career, I might as well just go see if I could pull a Saban. Except for Saban couldn't win a goddamn game in the NFL. What a horrendous fucking career he had there. But I think he's like, well, shit, I did it in the NFL. I could clearly do it in college. And then his boy Patricia on the other side with Ohio has one hell of a defense going. So like, was it Belichick or was it Matt Patricia? What are we doing here? So I don't know.
I don't know, because didn't Matt Patricia get exiled from the Lions for not being good enough? Well, that was as a head coach, I guess. So
yeah, as a head coach, it's interesting. And then he got brought back to the Patriots, but as an OC, if I remember correctly, which was a terrible mistake.
Yeah, that's
it's nuts. But good luck to Belichick in camp. I mean, it's the goddamn UNC Tar Heels, and it's not basketball. So you snooze, you lose, I guess. I do want to talk about real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and let you get started on this. I'd like to get your reaction. They released, I believe it was yesterday, the top 10 players of the 2024 season. There's definitely some notable names in here. Any that stick out to you and your thoughts on where they were placed?
Yeah, so, I mean, Saquon at 1. I guess let's go from the top. Let's go from 10 down to 1. Let's just have a little bit of a little session on each one. Patrick Surtain, probably the best coverage cornerback in the league.
Loved his father. Great cornerback for Kansas City for many years. Phenomenal player.
Yeah, probably the best cornerback or the best defensive back in all football for the past couple years. I'm not going to argue that. You could argue that. I'm sure
I'm not going to argue that.
Oh,
no, hey, look, I hate the fucking Broncos, but you got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, the dude is a lockdown corner. It's impossible to throw against him. I mean, in my opinion, which I'm sure we'll get there, and we will all season long, I've got the best quarterback in the league, and we can't do shit against this guy. So, dude's phenomenal, and I agree. Top 10 is a no-brainer, in my opinion.
I think he should be higher. And we'll get to that. He actually just right now, because Justin Jefferson was number 9. And I think with the amount that Justin Jefferson played last year,
it says he played 17 games. I don't think that's true. Correct? with almost 1,600 yards. There's no fucking shot. I thought he missed 3 or 4 games last year.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the miraculous thing, is that he missed games due to injury. My thing is, as far as impact, so just talk about impact on your team. I think Patrick Surtain's defensive impact was greater than the impact of Justin Jefferson on the Minnesota Vikings offense. I don't think Minnesota is obviously a different team without Justin Jefferson on the field. I do not think that he was more valuable last year in a vacuum to the team than Patrick Surtain was to his team, especially considering the dynamic of all the things they had going on with Bo Nix, rookie quarterback, not a lot of receiving weapons, running game was kind of in shambles, and they're fighting for a playoff spot.
I can agree with that. I do think he is rightfully in the top 10, though. I think he's the second best wide receiver in the league, and the top wide receiver is, if I'm not mistaken, in this top 10 list, a little higher, especially over last year. Let's say over the last 2 years, I think he's wide receiver number 2. And we're not talking fantasy, because I know a lot of people love to argue that. As far as the just all around best receivers, he's wide receiver 2. And I think he should be in the top 10, but I agree. Patrick Surtain may be ranked a little higher. So far we've got Jefferson at 10, Surtain at 9. Till we go further down this list.
Yeah, so I would have Surtain at 9 here, Jefferson at 10. They had Myles Garrett at number 8.
Dude's a fucking animal.
He is an animal.
You can't. I know another kind of divisional guy for you, but again, you got to respect.
No, I wanted the Bengals to kind of go after him when they were having a little bit of a contract.
You and me both, buddy. I think the entire league was like saying, "Hey, throw it all at him. Give this man a championship." Dude seems like a genuine dude. And then on top of that, he is a fucking game wrecker. Anybody would be excited to just like have him, you know?
Yeah. And once again, my only sticking point is like team success. And I know that this is like an individual award, essentially like an individual list. Like, what did you do on your own? But I think that how you contribute to team success and your team success as a result of your play should be factored into this. I'm sure that it is in some way, but maybe I think it should be more heavily weighted, because I just don't think that the Browns, he deserves to be in the top 10. He's a top 10 football player in the NFL pretty much every year he's played, as far as I can remember. So definitely deserves to be there, but I might kick him down the list too, just for that team success portion and the Browns just not being real competitors in any way, shape, or form, not only in the division or conference, but just in the grand scheme of the NFL. But yeah.
Yeah, number 7 here, we got Derrick Henry. I mean, I really thought him going to the Ravens was just going to be where he went to go ahead and hang his cleats up. He was going to get a decent year. The motherfucker rushed for almost 2,000 yards with almost another 200 in receiving yards, which I didn't even know Derrick Henry caught passes. Unfortunately, another divisional rival, and the dude's an absolute fucking animal.
Yeah. He's a beast. Seems like a very genuine guy. I've never heard anything bad about Derrick Henry, so he seems like a Walter Payton Man of the Year award type guy who also is just an absolute fucking maniac monster on the football field. And he's kind of an anomaly because he had a slow start to his career and then just came on like wildfire, it seems. Maybe the people in Tennessee, they saw it coming the whole time, but I do remember when he was playing behind, who was it, DeMarco the first couple of years, or he was behind somebody for a couple of years before he actually got started. And I remember thinking like, he's all right, but you know, nothing special. And he is actually a very special player. Definitely deserves to be here.
And he's completely changed the landscape of the Ravens. Like they were already an A to A+ team, and he shot them, I feel like, into an S tier caliber team. I think they're a few plays away, and there are a few players or schemes or something away from like. I don't know how they haven't won a Super Bowl, and last year was really the year to kind of like make it happen. You guys are in an incredibly tough division, but that team was already good, and then you add Derrick Henry, who again I was like, okay, well, he's probably going to play about the same caliber as every other running back that's been there the last couple of years, which has been pretty damn good, but not as injury prone it seems. But no, he just said, I'm going to have one of the best years of my entire career.
Yeah, and I think it's just one of those things where it's like the Ravens, I hate them, but I'll tip my hat to them as an organization. They find a way to make moves all the time that better their football team. They, whether it's the acquisition of Roquan Smith a couple of years ago from the Bears, that was kind of seemingly out of nowhere. You have Derrick Henry here. Outside of like big name wide receivers, they always seem to be able to make acquisitions, especially, on the defensive side of the ball, that are just net benefits to the team. And I don't know how they work the finances out, but I never hear about it being a problem in Baltimore. I never hear about like them like having a lot of contract disputes or like money talks with people.
Lamar seemed to be the only issue, but I think it was more or less just trying to make it make sense.
Yeah.
For especially probably guarantees was probably the big issue, which seems to be the issue with a lot of players going into contract sessions. It's really the guaranteed money.
I think you're almost never going to have like a starting quarterback in the NFL. I don't think, for at least the way that it seems now, from now till the end of time, it will never be just like we got that guy. Because of the way that the Browns fucked the NFL by guaranteeing Deshaun Watson all $250 million of his contract or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And the fact that the numbers for quarterbacks are just so much astronomically higher than every other position on the football team. I mean, even having that much money is just, I can't imagine investing that into one person. Like, just if you're at home listening to this or just sitting around thinking one day, just think about how much, think about the fact that there's a person who has to pay his salary, right? And they are paying it to one person. So this person, the owner of a football team, has so much revenue coming in, so much money, that they are able to pay one of 53 individuals $200+ million over the course of 4 years. Or 3 years. Like, just thinking about how much money that person has to have is nuts.
Well, speaking of money, number 6, it's gloat time for you. Mr. Joe Burrow lands at number 6. How are you feeling about that after the year that he had? Do you think he should be higher? Do you think he's rightfully placed? Obviously, we'll see once we get through this list. But your thoughts?
My thoughts are he should have been the MVP last year. I think that he was the most valuable player on his team. I think he's definitely a top 5 player in the NFL. Certainly, in my mind, a top 3 quarterback.
Yeah, we talked about this in episode 0. I fucking hate this guy for multiple reasons, but I don't disagree with you there.
I think
rightfully should have been MVP.
Yeah, I think Patrick Mahomes is one. Still, I mean, you have to dethrone him with championships. You can't even do it by outplaying him at this point, because he's just going to have the rings. He's going to do the old Bill Russell stance, the Tom Brady, where he's got all the rings on his fingers. So I think that he is one until he shows like such great decline in play, if that were to ever happen. I think he would have to play so bad to be, dethroned as the top QB in the league for the rest of his career. Number 2 for me would be Lamar, just because of his versatility. Just being able to do what he does. He has, I don't think he gets enough credit for the cannon he has, but he can throw the ball like 900 yards in the air and kind of on a rope too. And obviously he has the athletic ability to shake people. So I put Lamar at 2 right now, because that's one thing that Joe Burrow has, pocket mobility. And he has a little bit of mobility on the run, but not to that level. And then I would put Joe Burrow at 3. I think he's the most gifted pocket passer in the NFL right now, pure thrower. And I would say he's probably top 5 in history, and the only 2 that I can think of right now that I would put above him just as far as pure passing, just 3-step drop and throw, would be Dan Marino and Andrew Luck. And then
Joe Montana says top 3.
Yeah, man, I mean it's crazy.
Like that's big props coming from the OG GOAT. I mean, Tom Brady kind of takes that position, but the OG GOAT says top 3 of all time, which is fucking an incredible stat. One of the things I read here too, because I was about to refute this NFL.com article I'm reading, that's saying Joe Burrow's 43 passing touchdowns were the 4th most in history. And I didn't finish that sentence. And then it says only Tom Brady with 50 in 2007 and Aaron Rodgers with 48 in 2020 and 45 in 2011 had more. And I was like, well, that's bullshit because Mahomes also had 50 in a season. But this is also, which kind of blows my mind thinking about last season, with fewer than 10 interceptions. So 43 passing touchdowns, almost 5,000 yards with less than 10 interceptions is a fucking insane stat. And we're going to go to the quarterback that won it somewhere on this list. It ain't better than that. I mean, that's fucking insane. Again, can't stand the fucking guy, and I'm glad your defense sucks. We'll never have to worry about you. But god damn. I mean, incredible feat. We'll move on. Number 5.
He's got to stay healthy. I'll say that before we go. He's got to stay healthy. My boy has to.
I agree. I think this is
some of that's on him. Got to go down. Preseason games, don't take sacks, buddy. Go down.
No.
Okay.
No, he shouldn't be out there at this point. But he's going into the season healthy as of now, as far as we know. So a good shot there. Patrick Mahomes comes in at number 5. Now, if we look at just pure stats based on that, almost half of Burrow's passing touchdowns, about 1,000 yards short of Burrow. And he had 11 interceptions, which is pretty surprising. If we counted postseason, it'd be like 32 because I think he threw 20 in that Super Bowl game. He had 307 rush yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 fumbles. I think Mahomes put him in the top 10 as a biased pick. I think he's a top 10 player any year, like you said.
Yeah, I think you just got to
until you dethrone him.
He has to be like, even if he has a bad year, he has to be in the top 10 just because of what he's done already. You just can't you can't discount that, and I don't think that football will ever discount that.
But I don't think he should be top 5 after I thought last year was better than the year before. And I was pretty happy. I think he's still learning this new game post Tyreek Hill, and I think with Xavier Worthy, we talked about it on the last episode, I think some of that game comes back. And some of these schemes get back, but I don't think it should be number 5. I think it should be probably number 10 based on this list. But happy to see him back up there again. He's my dog. I love him. Thank you for coming to Kansas City. Thank you for making it home. He'll never leave. Thank God.
It's the importance of the position,
Kansas City.
Quarterback is just a more important position than any.
It really is.
So, I mean, you're going to get like a little bit of swing there. I do think he should be behind Burrow based off of last season.
Yeah. I mean, Burrow, if you're not going to give him MVP, give him fucking, number 1 or something. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But we can, I don't really have anything else to really say on that. I have some negative feelings towards Patrick Mahomes, but I actually root for him in life, not in football, but I root for him in life because I think he takes
a beautiful family.
He takes a lot of shit for a guy who really didn't do anything. Like, it's everybody around him that seems to always like fuck up his life or like blow up his spot per se. It's, his brother or his wife acting ignorant or his dad,
father.
It's always somebody else. It's never his. It seems like he has taken to the PR training, and he might need to send everyone else in his family to that PR training.
Yeah, I mean, him growing up in the professional world, I think made him kind of who he is, but I agree. I'm ready to move on because your boy, we got another Bengal in the top 10 here. Yeah. Jamar Chase at number 4. So this was what I was alluding to as what I consider the number one receiver in the league. I mean, he's got 1,700 yards. What did Jefferson have? 1,500. Okay, so 1,500 versus 1,700. 17 touchdown versus
10.
Yeah, sorry, that was Derrick Henry. I was like, this is wrong. Yeah, so I mean, at least in this case, the numbers aren't lying. I mean, he is the better receiver. I think as of right now, he also has the better quarterback. Although, we could argue this until the sun comes up. I think Jamar Chase makes Burrow a much better quarterback than people probably think he is. And then I'm sure it's the same vice versa. Burrow makes Jamar Chase a better wide receiver than maybe he is. But I don't think that's the case. I think Jamar Chase is the GOAT of that team. And I'm happy for you that you guys were able to lock him and T. Higgins up, because I think them two together with Burrow make that a much better offense.
Here's what I'll say. Seeing him at number 4 on this list makes me want to pull out a thesaurus and go on an absolute rant like none Stephen A. Smith has ever gone on, because the fact that he's not number 1 and the guy who is number 1 is number 1 goes back to the fucking start of this whole nonsense where I was like, well, I think team success should play into it, but it doesn't seem to, with Myles Garrett, with necessarily like Patrick Surtain, with Justin Jefferson, like they're not really, the team success isn't playing into it. But then you're telling me like at the top of this list, team success certainly did play into that pick, because there's no way that you could say any offensive player last year was more dominant at their position than Jamar Chase was.
Well,
and you know what? I'm not going to rant about it too much because I don't want to waste a bunch of time, but just know that he should be number 1 on this list, and everything else is a fucking sham.
I have some thoughts on that. We're going to get there. The next two are quarterbacks. We got Josh Allen at 3 and Lamar Jackson, respectfully. Josh Allen wins MVP. He's got 1,000 over. He's got less yards than Mahomes. He's got a few more passing touchdowns than Mahomes. 6 interceptions, pretty insane. If you ask somebody like we'll call him Demander or anything like that, apparently if you just only throw a few interceptions, you should be rated one of the best ever, as well as MVPs or whatever. I think that's absolute horseshit. He does have 531 rush yards with 12 additional touchdowns there. But rightfully so, Lamar Jackson is at 915 rush yards with even more yards and 41 passing touchdowns. They handed Lamar MVP 2 years ago. If they were going to pick a year to do it, this was the year to do it. 4 interceptions. Lamar was clearly the better player out of those two. Overall quarterback, because that's what MVP has come down to. I mean, it's a toss-up between Lamar and Burrow, but Burrow, as a pure passer, easily beats all of them. So it's a very confusing thing, but Lamar had, if we're just looking at overall season, I think Lamar deserves to be number 2. But Josh Allen, I don't even think should be in the top 10, to be honest with you. Now I'm seeing his stats in my face. The 12 rushing touchdowns are the thing that keeps him in the top 10. Josh Allen is quarterback number 4 for me. So that list that you gave, I don't disagree with any of it. I think Josh Allen is quarterback number 4. I fucking hate him too. But Bills are kind of our rival. So I don't have a choice but to hate him. It's just an every year back and forth battle there.
Here's what I'll say.
Should win an MVP, but I would like to hear your thoughts.
I think Josh Allen gets treated differently. And I'm not sure why. And so this is what I mean by that, because I like Josh Allen. When I say he gets treated differently, it's like I think that people rate him as a running back and a quarterback. So by that, I mean, when somebody talks about Lamar, they talk about a quarterback who can run and is mobile. And they don't, I think, I mean, they have large expectations for him, but nobody expects Lamar to go out there and like truck stick somebody on offense. And the thing I think that's different about Josh Allen is they do expect that. And I think that expectation gets to him a little bit. Like, I think that he knows that because he has such a big body and like people kind of look at him as like a secondary runner for the Bills, when he goes out there and he does safe things, not crazy stuff, I think that he doesn't get credit for smart plays, I guess is kind of what I'm saying. So if any other quarterback plays smart, runs out of bounds, avoids a hit, slides, whatever, I think that's safe play. They would get praise for making a safe play. I think if Josh Allen went out there and took a slide, you would hear like some sort of quip about like, well, he slid there, but he can run over you too. Like, and it's kind of like a double standard for Josh Allen. Now, that being said, I do think he's overrated as a quarterback. I think he's top 5 for sure. But yeah, I think people constantly want to put him 1-2 with somebody, whoever it is. And, I mean, and this has been said a million times, but he just hasn't proven anything as far as it goes. Like, he hasn't beat anybody in the playoffs. He has a losing record against the other top, what I would consider the other top 5, the 4 other top 5 quarterbacks in the league. He has an overwhelmingly losing record against like all of those teams. So,
and honestly, his running, I mean, don't get me wrong. The dude, like you said, he's a big guy. He is strong as fuck, but there's also just, we could dig up for hours plays where I think people are just scared to fucking hit him. Scared of penalties, scared of whatever. He didn't do it as much last year, but in years prior, you saw him doing kind of the like, I'm going to fake slide, but then I'm going to keep running. And it just was never there. Now, if he's on a 2-yard line instead of, pulling a tush push, a play we could also argue about all day, instead of doing that, he'll just stand straight up and say, come and get me. And he will run your ass over. So he's got the power.
That statement is going to be viewed very critically from our listeners. You being a Kansas City fan with the, he fakes going out of bounds. And
this motherfucker. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Dude, does, all quarterbacks have done it. There was these different rules created for Tom Brady. The best are going to play the lines until it becomes a rule. And they're going to constantly do it. And that's the difference between the championship winning team of Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, who his down year is better than most average years of quarterbacks. And then that's the difference between the guys that aren't playing those lines and, maybe even a Joe Burrow or a Lamar Jackson, who in most cases, except for the 1 year, I mean, you can't say Burrow's the only one out of all those quarterbacks that has made it at least to the fucking Super Bowl. But, you got to play those lines. I don't give a shit. But the motherfucker has played it more than I've ever seen out of my team. And that could be inherent bias, and that's fine. And I'll take it. And somebody can shit all over it. But joke's on you guys, because my team's got the fucking Super Bowls, and yours is watching from Cancun every year. So I don't know what else to say about that, but I would like, if you're ready, to move on to the number 1 player of the season.
I didn't get to touch on Lamar Jackson, so just let me say that I think it's very deserved. Very deserved from Lamar Jackson, as much as I hate him. He plays
Dude's a fucking animal.
Plays the game really well, and I hope he declines rapidly and does not have a good season. All right, moving on to number 1.
Saquon Barkley. So you had alluded to you don't think he should be number 1. Maybe it should be like a Jamar Chase or something. I'll tell you why he's number 1. Maybe you could look this up. Actually, I think it's here. He's the first person since 2013 to rush for over 2,000 yards. Or just a second running. Okay, no, he's the second running back since 2013, since AP. But he probably is the first one since then to rush for over 2,000 yards. He also had almost 300 yards in receptions and 2 receiving touchdowns. He only rushed for 13 rushing touchdowns. But I know that team, once they get down there, they're not handed to Barkley. They're going to push it in. But 2,000 rushing yards for a guy that obviously it was known you're going to go there. You're behind a good line. Of course, you're going to finally run well, as opposed to what he did in New York. but the man rushed for 2,000 fucking rushing yards. We don't see it as often. I was actually incredibly impressed. If we're going to put him at number 1, you might as well put Derrick Henry at number 2 for having almost 2,000 rushing yards. He's fucking just about 80 yards shy of Saquon here, but I don't personally dislike it. I see your arguments there. I was happy to see Saquon do well. They did some unfortunate pre-Super Bowl stuff, and I was like, that's sweet, but fuck this guy because I don't want him winning this game. And then he got to suffer in fucking New York and then go get a ring that.
So I like Saquon.
He's one of the best in the league.
I like Saquon. I do. I really actually like Saquon, and I wish him all the best. I said the city of Philadelphia is what I was going to say, which is actually true also. The state of Pennsylvania, I wish that we could drop a nuclear bomb on and just wipe it off the face of the earth. Nothing good outside of historical landmarks is in that, and no people, no sports teams, nothing. I hate.
Yeah, can we just give them to Canada?
I hate Pennsylvania.
I mean, it's a less lethal option there, you know.
So I'll
agree with that statement 100%.
And you know, looking at the numbers, it's hard to argue with Saquon, but if you take Saquon off the team, they're still basically making it to the Super Bowl. So I know that he gets numbers, but it's essentially a season's worth of garbage time numbers. I'm not saying that they have
Are
to
they?
Garbage time. Yes.
Are they? And I can tell you this. I think without Saquon, they don't win that Super Bowl.
Maybe they don't win it, but their potential is.
Saquon single-handedly caused Kansas City to focus on one thing and one thing only. Saquon Barkley. Stop this motherfucker. And then apparently they said, there must have been a team meeting. That's the only way it makes sense. Stop Saquon and forget about everybody else. Because they sure in the hell forgot about everybody else. And they made Jalen Hurts look like one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the fucking position.
Jamar Chase sees double coverage. It's harder to get him the ball. Like Saquon, you just turn around and hand it to him.
Okay. I mean, that's true, but I'm with it here. I don't know. Congrats to Saquon.
Yeah, congrats,
he
Saquon.
Didn't.
You're awesome.
You know, realistically, we also look at it as like it's a 2,000-yard season. Apparently, MVP is just not up for grabs for anybody but a quarterback these days. You know, Saquon was a topic of conversation for winning MVP. So, but it's kind of the same argument. Like Joe Burrow didn't get MVP. Lamar, who probably was a easily viable option compared to last year when he got it, didn't get it. So one of these guys had to be number 1. It went to Saquon. I hear your bias. They won the damn thing, and he got it. So
good job, Saquon. I hate the fucking Eagles. Hope the city burns.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on, we kind of skipped something. We're going to get to that now, and then we're going to get into our weekly picks and a couple quick fantasy points before we finish off here. We got some big NFL news that just took place over the weekend. Why don't you go ahead and kick that one off for us, Duke?
Yeah, so we just want to talk about the Micah Parsons trade for a little bit. And some people are calling this Luka Doncic 2.0. I don't think it's that serious. I think it's pretty bad trade. Pretty bad trade. The Luka trade was exceptionally dog shit. So let's not go that far.
Luka was also that team. That team is nothing without Luka.
Let me put it this way. That team made the finals with Luka Doncic. Without Luka Doncic, they're a fringe playoff team, if not a playoff team at all.
Right.
The Dallas Cowboys are a one and done playoff team with or without Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have the entire defense have
Micah
Parsons
Parsons
on it.
They're not making it to the Super Bowl or not making it to the Super Bowl based off of Micah Parsons. So individuals play a bigger part in that in the NBA, I understand, but let's not pretend like those things are equal because they aren't, and they aren't even close.
And he's traded to he's traded for 2 first-rounders and Kenny Clark, who had a kind of an up and down year. I imagine if he stays healthy, he'll be beneficial to a team that he's on.
Yeah, so I did some just broad statistical breakdowns of what happened here. And when I say stats, I just went into Pro Football Reference and just pulled some numbers that I thought mattered. So first let's look at Kenny Clark versus Micah Parsons. I know this wasn't a straight up trade. We'll talk about the 2 first rounders in a minute, but let's just look at player for player. Parsons is 25 years old, going on 26. Kenny Clark is 29, going on 30. So a 4 or 5 year age gap between the 2 players. A lot's been made about the Parsons extension. What was it? 188 million. It was 4 year, 188 million.
4 year, $188 million contract extension. It's the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history, which will start in 2026.
Yeah, 136 million in guarantees. Kenny Clark is costing them, and I don't know, what does that average out to per year? Do you know, Billy, off the top of your head?
What are we at here? What's the numbers here? 17 and a half?
17 and a half is Kenny Clark's salary. So 17 and a half million.
Oh, you're saying what does that cost them? I mean, it's about 23 a year, right? No, 50 something a year, close to it. It's
got to be
48 a year. It's 45, 46, I think it was. I saw it when it happened. I think it's between 45 and 47 million a year.
Okay, so you're saving a decent amount of money per year because you're averaging with bonuses about 17.5 million per year for Kenny Clark. But just statistically, Kenny Clark over the past 2 years, 8.5 sacks. Over the past 2 years, 8.5 sacks, which, maybe he's just not a sack guy. Maybe he's a team guy. Maybe he gets a lot of tackles. Let's talk about tackles for loss. Let's first of all, only one of those 8.5 sacks as a point came last year. So 8.5 sacks over the last 2 years, 1 sack last year. Over the last 2 years, 13 tackles for loss. 4 happened last year, which means that 9 happened 2 years ago. So he went from 7.5 sacks to 1 sack. He went from 9 tackles for loss to 4 tackles for loss. 21 QB hits over the last 2 years. 5 of them last year. So now he's going from 16 QB hits to 5. So he's basically, no forced fumbles. And in both of those seasons, he started and played all 17 games. So his stats nearly halved between 2023 and 2024. And now he's going into Dallas, and I guess they're expecting him to go back to his 2023 stats. I'm not sure, going on 30 years old, they think he's going to turn it around or he's going to be an asset when he's declining at that kind of rate. Like, I just don't think, tell me how you feel about that. I think that is a huge, huge red flag when you see somebody declining by over 50% performance-wise.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm paying almost $20 million a year for any of that, really. And honestly, I think Cowboys certainly lose on that as well.
Yeah, and, just to give you kind of a 1-for-1, Parsons, 26 sacks over the last 2 years, 12 of them last year. 30 tackles for a loss, 12 of those last year. 56 QB hits, 23 of those last year. 3 forced fumbles, 2 of them were last year. And you would think, like, okay, well, over those 2 years, like, it seems like he's declined too. Well, no, he went from playing 17 games in 2023 to 13 last year. So he had, 4 extra games. So in those 4 games, you have to imagine it would have evened out. So he's pretty steadily getting you, between, 12 and 15 sacks a year.
Which are stellar numbers.
Yeah, 14 to somewhere between like 14 to 18 tackles for loss. He's hitting the quarterback a fuck ton. Force and fumbles. He went from 1 forced fumble in 2023 to 2 last year. I mean, you have the potential for that to be, as many times as he hits a guy because he's just like an overwhelming beast. So, I mean, like I said, I know it's not player for player, but if you just look at that in general, Like it's insane that you're giving up that kind of player for him and 2 first-round picks. And so this is where, we'll bring Billy back in on the opinion ladder here, because I just wanted to break this down. But the 2 first-round picks is what everybody, what Jerry Jones is really harping on. And, those could be, franchise-defining players and Pro Bowlers and all that. So I went and took a look at what are we looking at those. So Billy, just real quick question. Would you expect the Packers to be a better team or a worse team now than they were last year?
With Micah, they are a much better team.
Okay. So I did this based off of the last year's stats. So I'm also assuming that they're going to be a better team. I think they are a more talented team for sure. And I think they have the potential to win more games. So their 2 first-round draft picks over the next 2 years, which the Packers are kind of more of an upswing team right now. They're young. They're going to get better, barring any type of setbacks or injuries. Last year had the 23rd pick in the NFL draft. So I'm saying if they have the potential to get better, I don't think they're a top 5 team in the NFL. So I took out the top 5 picks that they could get. They're going to be picking anywhere between that 23rd spot and 28 is from what I gather. So somewhere in that range. And I just went ahead and accumulated, a list of players over the last 5 years that have been picked in that range that are significant. So you're going to see him listed out here. Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver for the Jaguars, went 23. Xavier Worthy went 28 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Zay Flowers went 23 for the Baltimore Ravens. Jordan Addison went 24 for the Vikings. Najee Harris, 24 for the Steelers. Travis Etienne, 25 for the Jaguars. Brandon Ayuk, 25 for the 49ers. Jordan Love, 26 for the Packers themselves. And then I just went ahead and picked, the best, probably maybe the best player on this list, but certainly the best defensive player that you could find was Patrick Queen, was picked at 28 in 2020. So I just don't know how you get back what you gave away. If you're a Cowboys fan, just looking at this list, it seems like those picks are prime time if you want a wide receiver, right? So you have Brian Thomas Jr., you have Xavier Worthy, you have Zay Flowers. It sounds like you get like a speedster or big target guy. You can potentially get a number 1, usually looking at like a number 2 receiver on your team. Potentially you could get a developmental quarterback that you could play in a couple of years. Patrick Queen is an outlier as far as like defensive players go at that range. They're going much higher in the draft typically for those talented players. So I don't know what Jerry Jones is seeing where he thinks he's going to be able to get back the defensive losses that he's accumulated by trading Micah Parsons away.
I mean, he's clearly not seeing. You got a young guy who is one of the best defensive players in the league, who anybody would love to have. So these 2 first rounds, I'm with you. And let's look at those wide receivers and think about the Packers' history. For the first time, I feel like in 35 years, the Packers actually picked a fucking receiver in their first round this year. So typically they don't even pick these middle of the road receivers. And some of these guys have potentials to be pretty good. Brian Thomas doesn't have a fucking quarterback. Xavier Worthy going into his second year. We'll see what happens. Zay Flowers has been pretty good, to say the least. I mean, there's only so much to compare him to on that team.
Yeah, Jordan Addison's got to stay out of jail.
Jordan Addison stay out of jail. Najee Harris is moving on to a new team and trying to get his eye fixed.
He's got to meet Jesus Christ and recover from his blindness. I don't know what.
Travis Etienne fell off the face of the planet. Brandon Ayuk may never play another down again in the NFL. And Jordan Love is their starting quarterback over there. And unless you think you're going to get a quarterback at 26 and then sit him and develop him for the next 4 or 5 years, yeah, I mean, it's stupid on that. I agree. It was going to take 2 first rounds, but you want 2 first rounds from a team that sucks. Like you want 2 first rounds from the Browns or something like that. You don't want 2 first rounds from a, playoff, pretty much perennial playoff team. It makes no sense whatsoever. He just didn't want to pay one of the best players in the league. And that's, if I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm in shambles.
I think
that's kind of why this is compared to a Luka trade, because you can tell that the owner does not give a fuck. Period.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's just playing the game of like, I'm the boss, and you've seen a lot of that going around. Mike Brown, not to point fingers at my own boys, but I mean, there's just a lot of like, I am the boss. Like I employ you, you don't employ me. And that flex just isn't going to work. And like you said, you need a worse team to trade for first round picks with, in this case, for them to get what they gave away. I mean, they would, you'd hope that you were picking in like the teens, at least like the middle teens, 13 to 16 range, the late 20s.
It's just not going to bode well.
Look. I mean, it's first round picks in the NFL, so everybody's always going to like view them as more valuable maybe than they really are. But good Lord Almighty, I mean, I just don't know what to really say about this. I just don't. It was a terrible trade. I don't know what Jerry's thinking. And I don't know how he plans on getting that back, unless there's some sort of, I'll call it now, there could be NFL collusion to let a player drop to the Cowboys just so that they can pretend like the Micah trade wasn't that bad.
Yeah. That's a good, let's put a stamp on that. I do want to go ahead and move on to our last point of the evening. Just real quick news. We do have Deron Bland did get a $92 million extension.
Yeah, that's where all the Micah Parsons money went, was to sign
so
Deron
like
Bland.
We're going to just take Bland over. I'm not seeing it. It is through 2029. So, I mean, it's what, a 5-year deal there, 4-year deal. So it's significantly less money, but still like, don't pay Deron Bland. You just fucking
listen. There's 17 games in an NFL season, more if you intend on playing in the playoffs, which I can't imagine that Dallas Cowboy fans don't intend on playing in the playoffs. They want to be in the playoffs. Deron Bland has played more than 10 games one time in his sophomore year. He played 8 games as a rookie, 7 games last year. 2023 campaign, his sophomore year, was an outlier, and I think that he got paid based off of that outlier. He played 15 games. He had 9 interceptions in 2023, 0 last year. Every pick six he's ever had came in that 1 year, in 2023. So he's, they claim that he's like a pick six master, the maestro of pick sixes. Yeah, he had a lot. But they all came in one single year, right? Out of 3. So 1 out of 3 years has been exceptional for Deron Bland, and the other 2 have been below average. He's gone down in every major statistical category last year compared to his rookie year, where he played 8 games. Last year he played 7 games, so he played 1 more game in his rookie year. Every every stat that you can track across the board went down between his rookie year and last year when he played 7 games. Last year, just as an example of that, his rookie season, the passer rating allowed when targeted, so the passer rating of the quarterback when targeting Deron Bland was 82.2. In his rookie season. In that 2023 campaign, it was 60.8. So it was trending in the right direction. Over the 7 games last year, when he was targeted, the quarterback passer rating was 105.7. So,
which league average, I believe, is probably around like 90 to 100, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the league average is, but I mean, I
would imagine somewhere around there. And he's not good. And we just paid him 92. Well, not we. Thank God I'm not a fucking Cowboys fan. If they just paid him $92 fucking million. I
think that they paid him based off that 2023 campaign, and it seems to have been an anomaly of a season.
And let's be fair, that campaign when he was there was a completely different defensive coordinator who just won a fucking Super Bowl, on another team, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, good luck to the Cowboys fans and Deron Bland. But you're not going to see 9 pick sixes from him a year for the rest of his career, right? You're probably looking at like 2 over the course of this entire contract. So,
yeah. It sucks to suck. Moving on. Let's go ahead and get to this week's picks.
Yeah, man. I'm excited about this one.
I was going to say presented by FanDuel, but it's us.
It's us. But we are using FanDuel sportsbook lines to pick the games. So,
so speaking of that dog shit team, they go up against the reigning Super Bowl champs the Philadelphia Eagles. I assume that will be banner drop night. Seems to be the trend going here. It was Kansas City last year. Philadelphia on that Thursday night game. Over under 47.5, and Philadelphia is favored by 8.5.
So, that's a tough one. I will say that I'll take the over 47.5, and I will take Philadelphia on the points. I think they're going to win by like 20.
Yeah, I agree with the points in Philadelphia because Dak has played 5 snaps in the last 2 years. But I will take the under. I don't think it's going to be as high scoring of a game as we think it's going to be. I think 21-14. We're not at 47.5 points there. I don't think we're going to see much.
I think it might be like 35-14. What's that equal out to? 35-14. That's over 47.
49. Yeah.
So I think we're just going over that.
The next game, a lot closer, which is kind of unfucking believable. I don't know if it's the travel associated with it or not, but we have our first international game, which is the Chiefs and the Chargers in Brazil. It's a 3-point to the Chiefs with the over-under 45.5. So less than the Eagles and Cowboys. Me personally, I'm going to take the over, and I don't see this being a 3-point spread here. I think it's going to be much more than that. I think the Chiefs are going to dominate.
Okay, well, this is you're gonna love this. First of all, I'd like to say Godspeed to both teams. I hope they make it out of Brazil with their lives.
Yeah,
I'm going to take the under. I think it's likely to be closer to like a 40-point combined spread. So I'll take the under on 45.5, and I am going to take the Chargers to win by 4. I think it'll be in the nature of like 24-28 or 24-20. But obviously I'm thinking more 24-20 with the taking the under, but I would take the under, and I'll go Chargers by 4.
Okay. New York Giants at Commanders. Commanders favored by 5.5, over under 45.5. I'll let you take the first one on this one.
Other than Dexter Lawrence, did the Giants like redo their whole defense or something? Like why is this so close? I think the Commanders win this by 2 tuds. I think it's under 45 points, but I think it's like 17-7 or something stupid like that.
We are going to have to agree on that one because I agree as well. I think the Commanders easily handle this one, and I think it's a much bigger than.
We really don't even know the availability of Malik Neighbors at this point, right? He's still technically questionable. He could be a game time decision with the toe injury or foot. Sorry.
I mean, they do have the big Russ back there throwing for them, so Giants have a shot. But I'm not convinced that with any quarterback change there, unless it's somebody major who's not in the declining years of their career, I'm not seeing this even being a contest.
I hope they're wearing the throwback helmets. The Giants throwback helmets are very sexy.
Next game is Panthers at Jaguars. It's a 3.5-point spread. Jaguars at negative 3.5, over under 46.5. I take the over on this, and God, I think Panthers are going to win this fucking game.
Yeah, I mean, good thing we don't have to agree because I'm taking the exact opposite approach. I think I'm one for the unders this week, I guess, and I'm taking the under 46.5, and I'm taking the Jags in like a really terribly played, boring to watch game.
Okay,
might be all field goals.
Could be, but I think Bryce Young, we talked about it on episode 0. I think Bryce Young is different. I think they're going to outplay those expectations, and we shall see. Pittsburgh at New York Jets, 2.5-point difference here at 38.5 on the over under.
I think that this is going to go over, and I'm taking the Steelers. Unfortunately, it hurts my soul to say that.
I will take the Steelers as well, but I think it's going to go over.
That's what I said as well. I said over.
Oh, I'm sorry, under. My apologies. I think it's going to under. I think Aaron Rodgers, if somehow they can block for him and the team plays well, I think he's going to sling it a bit. DK Metcalf out there. The Jets obviously won't do anything, and that's why I think it's going to be under. I think if 30.5 points are on the board, it's going to be all Pittsburgh. I don't see the Jets putting up anything.
Could potentially be a shutout. Yeah, I need to take at least an over and not agree with you on something. So yeah, I'll take the Steelers. I think the Steelers are going to win pretty handily, though. I think they'll win by like 17 or something. I hope it doesn't happen that way. I hope Breece Hall balls out. I love Breece Hall. I hope he doesn't tear his ACL. I hope that the Steelers fall flat on their faces and lose the game. And they
got him on a fantasy squad, so I'm with you there.
Yeah. However, I think that they do win pretty easily on this one and come away with it.
Vegas Raiders at New England Patriots. Patriots are favored by 2.5 on this one with the over under at 43.5. I got that going over. We got a new Raiders offense and a new head coach there in the New England Patriots. I take the Raiders on this, though. Hate to say it, but I think Raiders win this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to take the over in the Raiders on this. It's just, this is all gut feeling and also a little bit of personal bias. I think everybody hates the Patriots outside of New England. We're still fatigued from the 2000s and 2010s. Rather just see the Raiders win this game. I don't know how they're going to score points with the gaggle of wide receivers they have over there. But we'll figure it out. Or they'll figure it out and win the game by 3 points.
Cards are favored by 6.5 over the New Orleans Saints. I didn't even say that right. Over the Saints, over under 42.5. Well, I'll let you take the first one on this one.
I think this will go over. I think that these are teams that are like, I don't even know how to say
Spencer Rattler starting for the Saints, though?
He is, I believe. I think that it goes over. I think the Cardinals do win. I think it's kind of like a Globetrotters game is how I look at it, where it's like it's not even really about winning or losing. It's just about the fashion in which you do it. It's like not even like the points like don't matter. It's it's like whose line is it anyway? The points don't matter. And that'll be just like how many points the New Orleans Saints score. It means nothing because they're going to lose the game.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under, but I also am going to take the Cards on this one. I don't think the Saints are going to do well at all this year.
I can name like 2 good players on the Saints or 2 players that I think are good on the Saints, and that's it.
Bengals, Browns. It's Flo Jacko starting for the Browns this year. And there's 15 other quarterbacks lining up to take his place. I'm going to take the over on this. And Bengals are favored by 5.5. I think the Bengals will win, but I think more than 5.5.
So you're taking the Bengals and the points. That's crazy, dude. Joe Flacco has historically played very well against us.
I think it's going to be a touchdown difference. I don't think we're going to be quite at 5.5.
I think
it's going to be a good game, honestly.
I'll take the over too. Because I think regardless of how bad the Browns' offenses or defenses may be worse. Hopefully they are not. But our secondary has so many holes that you could put Swiss cheese secondary. The Cleveland Browns could put up 30 points. I think the Bengals will have to put up 34 to win the game. I'm taking Cincy by 20 though. Let's go over in Cincy.
Miami Dolphins at the Colts. Over under is 46.5. The Colts are favored by 1.5.
That's crazy.
Colts aren't winning this. It's going to be the Dolphins, and I think it's going to be an absolute under. I don't think either one of these teams are going to be able to score over 20 points.
Yeah, I'm actually with you on that. I think it's nuts that the Colts are favored. I guess that's the home field advantage. Otherwise, it would be just like a flat line, like no spread. I don't know. Like,
I can't. This guy's Danny Dimes is the starting quarterback. Like, how are we favoring them at all?
I think it's going to be
the last time that guy won an NFL game?
I think it's going to be like 20-12 Miami.
Yeah.
Who's the running back for Miami? That like it's not A-Chain, right? Is he? I thought he was out.
Is he still hurt?
I think he is.
If he's hurt, then that is a very good question. I have no fucking clue who.
Maybe that's what's playing into it. Actually, you know what? I will take the under on this game. Well, I guess I still got to take the Dolphins and points. I think it's going to be really close, though. I think it'll be a 3-point game or something like that. It'll be a close game, but I'll take the Dolphins and the under.
Bucks at Falcons. Bucks are favored by 2.5. Over under 47.5. Boy, this could be a good one.
I'll tell you what, I'll go first on this one. I'm taking the Falcons, and I'm taking the over. I think it'll be around a 50 to 55 combined point game. Like, I think it's just going to be a good amount over, and then I like the Falcons to win it. I think it's a statement game for them. I think it means a lot to Atlanta. I don't think it means a lot to Tampa right now. And I'm going to take the Falcons.
It is in Atlanta, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Bucks. And I will also take the over. I think it's going to be higher scoring than we expect.
Tampa Bay could just put up 42 on the Bucks.
My boy Baker is going to ball out this season. Dude's going to be MVP conversation at the end of the year.
For sure.
He won't win it, but he'll be in the conversation. Tennessee at Denver. Denver is favored by 7.5, over under 42.5. I don't think Tennessee's going to score any fucking points, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to take the over on this. And I do take the Broncos as well. I think Broncos easily handled this one.
I hate the Broncos. I want to take Tennessee so bad. I want
Same, but
to
Tennessee
take
is just such a
bad.
dog shit fucking team.
I want to take them so bad. I'm going to take the Broncos, and I'm going to take the under. I can't see
who is it still Malik, right, at the starting quarterback? Who's starting for Tennessee this year? Oh, it is Cam Ward. Yeah, he's not going to do shit. We already discussed that.
I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take Denver. Well, actually, no. I'm taking the Titans at points. I think it'll be less than 8-point game because the line is 7.5. So I think it'll be a touchdown or less. I think that Denver's a bunch of phonies. They're going to drop a bunch of games this season. Anyhow,
I agree, but I think they win it. And the over. 49ers at Seahawks. 49ers are favored by 2.5, 43.5 points total combined. I got to take the under on this, and I will take San Francisco.
I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to take Seattle. And the reason that I'm going to do that is you can only run so many different running plays before Seattle's just going to stack the box. I don't think that San Francisco really has anybody worth it to throw to. I know people like Ricky Parasol or whatever his name is.
I like him for the story.
And they like
Brian
Kittle.
Robinson for the story.
I think that you can deal with Kittle and put everybody else in the box and try to stop the run. And I think that, I'm just going to take the over 43.5, and I'm going to take the Seahawks to win the game outright. So,
okay, Lions at Packers. A little late Sunday game here, not quite nighttime yet. Lions are not favored in this game. It is the Packers by 2.5. That line probably changed as soon as Micah entered the building. I don't know yet that he is starting week 1, so let's keep that in mind. He does indeed actually have some back issues going on, something we really didn't discuss in the news, but I still think Packers are a good team. I think they're better with him. I'm taking the Lions here. The over-under is at 47.5. I think we're fucking going over that. But I'm taking the Lions here. Did I say Packers? I think I might have said Packers.
No, you said Lions. I'm also taking the Lions.
I'm taking the Lions and the over.
I think the Lions are going to outright win. I don't know why.
I don't think the outright win. I don't think we're going to have a 2.5-point game. It could be a 3-point game. Could be a field goal to decide this entire bitch.
Yeah, I got the Lions.
Two really good teams. I mean,
I got the Lions winning this, and I got the under on this. I think that everybody's going to have a slow start to the season here, or these two teams will.
That's highly possible. This is the first week of the season. Texans at Rams. Rams are favored by only 3, with the over-under at 44.5. God, sometimes neither one of these teams not a fucking score. So I'm going to take the under on this, but I'm also going to take the Rams.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over on it. Matt Stafford's healthy, from what I understand. So as long as Matt Stafford's healthy, I think that the over is going to be the play with Los Angeles and their weapons. And I'm going to take Los Angeles to win the game.
I'm going to stick with the under, but I do got to remember that we got Puka and Devontae Adams lining up opposite of each other. I mean, that team could go the fuck off this year.
It's
a little scary.
Kyron too, so forget.
Yeah. Sunday night, we're in for a actually, no, not Sunday night. Sorry.
No, we're on Sunday night. Baltimore at Buffalo.
Oh, yeah. I'm reading this wrong. Okay. Yeah. Sunday night, we've got Baltimore at the Bills. Bills are favored by 1.5 with 50.5 being the points. I'm going to take the under on this. I know these are two juggernaut offenses, but also Ravens have the better defense. Buffalo, I think, did a little work on the offseason on their defense. I think, again, kind of that slow start, which I've seen both of these teams do. So I take the under, and I'm going to take Baltimore to take this home and not Buffalo.
I'm going to take Buffalo because I want Baltimore to. This is complete fan inter-division bias.
I feel it.
I hope Buffalo beats the brakes off the Ravens. I'll take the over on this, though. I think it's going to be like a third. I think both teams will be hovering around the 30s for this game. Hopefully, it is the Bills who come out victorious, and I'm going to take them by, late game heroics. I'll say that. I'll say it's late game heroics.
I just realized, that's typically how some of those start. I think I just realized that I picked two of my divisional teams to win, and the only one to lose, we're playing them. So it's interesting. And then the Monday night game, this could be a great game, or this could be one boring fucking game to start off the season. See what the NFL was trying to do here. Vikings at Bears. Vikings are only favored by 1.5 with the over-under being 44.5. I am taking the under on this. I think Caleb Williams still sucks, and JJ McCarthy is unknown, so I'm taking the under. And I am going to take the Vikings at more than 1.5. I think they're going to win by a fucking touchdown at least.
Yeah, I'm going to take the same. I'm taking the under. I'm taking the Vikings. I think that this is a boring Monday night game. They should have picked a better game. There are several other games that could have been here. Could have put the Texans Rams here. Could have put the Lions Packers here. Could have put the 49ers Seahawks here. Could have put the Raiders Patriots really there. Even there's could have put the Commanders Giants there. Chiefs game could have been there. The Chiefs game's a late night game, primetime game anyway, but I think that this is just a dog shit primetime game. And the NFL really needs to work on their scheduling. They tend to do this, and then they have to flex themselves out of a bad position. Just pick a fucking interesting game and put it in primetime. That's all I'm going to say.
I agree. Last but not least, just as a heads up on this show to anybody watching, pretty much to cap off every show, we are going to talk a little bit about some fantasy football. I can let you guys know kind of what I'm doing. I think I had an okay draft. But more importantly, the Duke is finally in the Church's Nest's Fantasy Football League, which is a kind of work league that we have. I've been out for a while, but I am a retired Hall of Famer championship winner of that league. And Doug, how did your first draft go, and what are your expectations for the season?
Well, my expectations for the season is to scramble and win the championship. I kind of can't accept anything less. My draft went okay. I think that a lot of running backs.
What is your team name? I'm sorry, real quick. What is your team name?
The Extra Scoop is my team name.
The Extra Scoop. Okay. Going up against Kill a Season, week 1 here. We got Herbert, Kamara, Harvey, Nakua, Neighbors, who's still questionable, Pitts, Worthy, Williams, and then your bench is Tracy, Matthew Golden, Quinshawn Judkins, Loveland, and Stroud. Bold move getting a second quarterback in the draft, in this league in particular, but I don't hate your team.
It's not great. Listen, I need the security blanket of the extra QB. I really wish I kind of I got trapped into waiting forever to take a tight end, and now I am stuck between Colston Loveland and Kyle Pitts, and I'm just hoping Kyle Pitts can do anything at all. But I'm probably going to be proposing some trades here soon. And I have a wealth of wide receivers, and I can afford to, there's a lot of potential in Matthew Golden. There's a lot of potential in this year for Xavier Worthy. A free agent
who's not playing for a team at all.
Yeah, I could. I don't see that. I don't think any of them are any good, but just fantasy wise, I don't not like my picks. A lot of running backs went off the board early. I think the first round it's 12-team league. It was split like 6-6 between running backs and wide receivers, and None of my mocks predicted that. It had many more wide receivers going off. I mean, my first 2 picks were Naku and Neighbors. And I had not really been able to draft either of those guys in any mocks. So that was just kind of like a scramble situation. I expected different guys to be there. We'll see how it goes though. I have faith in this team. I think that it can put up points with, the best of them, especially in this league. I think that there are definitely some worse teams in the league.
What was your draft grade? Not that any of that matters.
I don't know, dude.
Because it never pans out.
Is there a way to find that out? I didn't get an email.
Yeah, typically you'll get an email. Let me see here. There is found it the other day and I can't remember where it is.
I can't imagine it was good. So I'm projected in the power rankings. I'm 10th out of 12. So.
Okay.
But it has Scrubby at 1, and Scrubby's team is Mahomes, McCaffrey, Chuba, McConkey, Jerry Jeudy, Brock Bowers, Jalen Waddle, Jerome Ford, J.K. Dobbins, David Njoku, Michael Pittman, Demario Douglas, and Rashad White. And you didn't mishear that. There were 3 Cleveland Browns on that list.
Not a terrible team though, all at the same time. However, it's banking on a lot of hope and prayers, honestly, but
I think he's getting killed through the bye weeks, the weeks that he can't start, when the week that he can't start Ladd, the week that he can't start Chuba, the week that he can't start Christian, and the week that he can't start Brock. I mean, he has David Njoku who can fill in there, but Pittman, Douglas as backup receivers, Demario Douglas, I don't have a lot of faith there, and J.K. Dobbins and Rashad White as backup running backs, and neither one of them even start for their team. It's going to be rough. He's going to need some carrying to happen for sure, in my opinion, but in ESPN's opinion, he's going to, run away with the league.
We shall see. I look forward to hearing more about it. We are definitely going to recap each week, just kind of go through the games real quick, mainly yours. We might include a little bit more on that. It's something we'll definitely discuss. But hey, another episode down. I think this one went a lot smoother than the last one. We'll let the comment section decide. But I think that's it for me. I'm ready to sign out.
All right. Yeah. Well, as always, we appreciate you guys being here. Love to you all, love to God, and love to football. We'll see you next week.
Hell yeah, brother. All right. Y'all take it easy. Goodbye.
Bye.